Welcome to That Davis Show. I am your host, Kenneth Davis. Please follow me at That's Davis on all social media platforms. Of course, you know Ryan Bukoveski, the executive producer of this show. Follow him at Ryan B. Ski and Ryan B. Ski 1 on Instagram. We got a lot to get into today. We're going to recap our feelings of the WNBA Finals with the Sky winning and having a parade. It was nice to see the ladies had a parade, and they were at Pritzker's Pavilion downtown at the Shell. So definitely in Millennium Park. That was fantastic to see. We're going to get to, of course, some basketball with the Bulls season started a couple days ago. The Bulls beat Detroit. Detroit actually played well to have rookie Kay Cunningham out. They're getting their stuff together over there in D-Town. It's going to take a minute, and it's not just the talent. The effort was standing out. And Jeremy Grant, goodness gracious, the type of the game that he had. That move of him deciding he wanted to show out and show his talents and not necessarily play for a contender, but play for a team where he is the man or at least one of the men was definitely a wise decision. The NBA 75th anniversary kicked off, and there's a lot of hate. Tony's trying to troll people at the Reggie Miller disdain. We talked about it this morning, and I'm not going to let him pull me into it. And, of course, last but not least, our Bears took an L last week to their owner, Aaron Rodgers, and now they're going down to Tampa, to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, this time they want to get owned on the road.
Yeah, like how many owners do they have? We didn't know that there were even more McCaskey / Hollis family members that were out there. So we have a whole list of things that we're going to jump into. How are you doing today, Ryan?
Oh, I'm doing good. You know, weekend time, a lot of sports, got the playoffs. I've been really looking forward to Bulls basketball of late, which has been a change for years. So, yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm fine. There are playoffs going on right now.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Like, if it's not a close game, I'm kind of like, click. Like, it's not really keeping me there.
I'm rooting for Dusty Baker, but I thought it was going to be easier for me to kind of check in, but I don't really want to see the Astros, but I'm rooting for Dusty. I don't want to see Boston win anything.
I honestly don't want to see any of these Final Four except for maybe the Braves.
Nah, but
yeah, like I don't even care if I don't see the Braves. Like, give me another two teams from the AL and NL that could maybe be in this.
Right. So definitely, again, after playoffs, we're talking about MLB because because the Sox got knocked out or murderized by.
I'd be the same way. You kidding me? Like when your team gets bounced in the playoffs, that's a horrible feeling. And like, you know, I bet you in Green Bay, getting bounced from the playoffs is a lot different than here in Chicago. Like when you kind of go there every year, maybe a bounce out here or there.
It's not as bad. It's not as bad.
When you've been waiting years after years after years, and even though they went last year didn't really count. That was kind of like a weird COVID playoff thing. You get bounced, like that's the worst. That's the worst one.
If you're there every year, it's kind of like when on the text line, when guys was going up about Texas A&M about to beat Alabama, and it's like, Alabama just won a national championship last year, right? Like, wake me up when it's been 4 or 5 years and they haven't won, and that we're still talking about what's going on with Alabama, and Alabama is still in the hunt right now. They're number 3 in the country. Like, relax, all right? You get to have about 11 players go to the NFL and get a loss in the SEC, all right, with the rich ass Texas A&M. So yeah, if it's like that, I will be fine tuning into the playoffs in the MLB. But like you said, my White Sox are like Vanderbilt making it to the damn playoff in college football. You know what I'm saying? That's how remote it is, right? I can't even say we're like Florida, like we once had a history. We're not even that type of good. You know what I'm saying? It's unexpected. So yeah, that kind of kept me away. But luckily, the fact that we had the WNBA helped cleanse my palate really quick.
Are we about to go off top?
Yeah, we're going to go off top. The Sky off top. The Sky. Candace Parker, Courtney Vandersloot, Kalia Copper, Allie Quigley, Dolson, James Wade, and so on and so forth. it's still not. I hate the sexist angle, not the angle, but that some dudes can't appreciate this. I should say that they can't get out of their own mind and just appreciate the exquisite basketball, the talent, and the guts and the determination of this team. This was like you already know from last weekend. Demaz and I went to Friday night's game. We went to Friday night's game. We tried to get tickets for Sunday. They were high. They weren't. I won't even say expensive. They're expensive compared to how much they were initially before scalpers before the tickets went up because they made it into the finals. Because our tickets were $19, and those same tickets a day later were like $175.
Dang.
Yeah, that's a price jump for that ass. If it was 100, I would have paid and I would have went. I told you I was going to go. I almost went to the parade by myself, right? Because clearly nobody wanted to go with me because they would have been like, "Hey, guys, let's do this," right? I was waiting to get my orange WNBA hoodie, which I shouldn't say this. Fanatics shipped it, and the Fanatics shipped me the hoodie, and I didn't get the one that says championship. So sometimes, especially something like a hoodie, I don't want it necessarily to be championship because it kind of it puts a timestamp on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, so like 3 years from now, I don't want to be walking around with like the Sky 2021 on my chest compared to that silhouette. And I forgot we were talking about it. I don't know if it's Sue Bird or not, but that silhouette of Sue Bird or whoever's the young lady that's laying up the ball, I can always wear that hoodie and it's going to be fly. And it's orange, so it's going to mix with so many different things that I can wear with it. Right. So I'm like, dude, it's just an ill silhouette and ill hoodie. So anyway, I got it shipped through FedEx, and FedEx dropped that joint over as the wrong house, right? So I'm sitting here yesterday. I got in contact with them the day of. I had a claim. They're still processing the claim. And I'm like, listen, process that claim. And I sent this first business. Basically, I sent this next day delivery, even though it was hastened. It was next business day, and I bought it on a Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. So it was, of course, Monday it was going to ship. Tuesday it'd be to me. Tuesday it was to someone else. So we'll find out. But anyway, enough about me and my damn sweatshirt, my hoodie rather. The Sky, that game, I don't know. We haven't talked about it. That last game, them being down double-digit points. I don't know who put the lid on the rim when it came to the Mercury, but somebody strapped that lid on there, and them bunnies wasn't dropping for nothing. It was like they at least missed 3, and then another time I think they missed maybe another 3 or 2. They missed layups like it was going out of style. The pressure was built up. I don't even understand why. I understand why they upset after the game as far as destroying the door that was allegedly destroyed by Diana Taurasi, which was also at the parade. Because it wasn't close enough. Like, of course you're going to be mad you're an athlete, but you got to be mad like you all were really in this. You lucked up and won a game that you shouldn't have won in the first place with the first game, basically. You know what I'm saying? So, like, please, you were not in this. These ladies, the reason you were in it is because they stopped shooting well. It wasn't as much as you were doing something. And Brittany Griner was playing harder. Brittany Griner goes alpha 24/7. It'd be hard to beat that team, but luckily she's Brittany Griner. So it was great. It was great. I still haven't watched all of the parade because I had to run out and I had to record under center. So I'm going to get back to that because I in particular, of course, I want to see Candace's point during that because just growing up with her. Just seeing that story, seeing all of their stories, it's just touching. And it's been a long time since the Cubs won. The Chicago has celebrated the championship, and it's good. We need championships around here every couple years.
Right. Man. That's why I don't get why people are like turning up their nose on this. Like, man, it's been a minute from a championship.
They're sexist, man. So, I don't want to watch that girls' basketball. And then look, I like some dudes have just been honest. Not to say they said that, but I talked to one dude, and he's like, "Man, I didn't see it." He's like, "I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't see it." And I'm like, that's cool that you could be honest and just you didn't see it, you didn't see it. But it's like the undertone, under grumblings and the little statements, of course, that are just, I don't know. It's just distasteful, I should say, some of the stuff that I've run across.
Yeah, you hate hearing that. I mean, for me, I feel like maybe it's just me being a sports guy. anyone in the playoffs, or maybe not anyone, any team in the playoffs, that's a great story. It's very easy for me to get behind it, regardless of the aesthetics around what body part you got in between your legs.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful game. You know what I'm saying? The series, this playoff run, the play-in, the play-in game, and then beating Sylvia Fowles. It was all just terrific. Anytime you get next year, please take Deladon out if she's healthy. Let's line them up.
The Sky Revenge Tour.
Yeah, it's Revenge Tour, right? Let's line them up. So definitely, I'm looking forward to next season. Definitely going to be at a couple games, take the family. And also,
Deladon, you want to be with the family? How about we bury you out here in Connecticut?
And also, they got to sign Kalia Copper. They got to max her out. You know what I'm saying? That's the real thing. That young lady has played herself into a contract. Got to max her out, man. You can't let the MVP leave your team with.
Sky have a habit of doing that, though.
We've just named a couple. Right? We just named a couple, so
yikes. A star needs to be signed for the Sky.
Looking forward.
Who's got the die?
looking so forward to. But sticking with hoops, the Bulls, they opened up the season this week. I talked about it in the open. They beat Detroit. Detroit gave him a little bit of run in that game. Lonzo wasn't really right in that game compared to how he's been in its preseason. I don't know if he had the yips from it being the first game and tonight being the opener. Also tonight, our boy Tony Gill, you'll hear his voice on the open. So shout out to Tony. Shout out to NBC Sports. Listen, I'm excited about this year because we've had so much lame ass Bulls basketball for seasons after seasons. And it was all about finding players, finding young players. And I love me some young player. I love to play GM, but I'm tired. We don't have draft picks anymore anyway. I'm happy that Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley were able to bring in this much talent. I don't know yet about the DeMar fit. DeMar's his layup package isn't right now. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of bunnies that were kind of out there missed, and I hope that he's going to find center and be able to really lock in, because I think his mid-range game can really benefit the Bulls in half-court settings and at the end of quarters and at the end of games. You know what I'm saying? Where you saw, for instance, like someone like Chris Paul get down. That's like nothing like playoff mid-range game, because they're going to give it to you for you to exploit. Zach, oh my goodness, you've heard me talk about it. The lane is wide open. I mean, you have so much talent on the floor. And they did double Zach, but it was doubling when he got hot compared to just doubling him off the bus. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, okay, we got to get the ball out of Levine's hands. Zach looks so much better when he doesn't have to carry an entire organization alone.
Yeah.
Like, it looks effortlessly. Not to say it didn't in the past, but it looks even more effortlessly, and it heightens the greatness of his offensive basketball game. Also, defensively, he gave a lot more gusto too, just as far as closing out. But it just shows you he's really high when it comes to his skill set in the NBA. Someone that can shoot the way that he can shoot, that can get to wherever he wants to get on the court, and that can elevate and dunk on anybody. There's very few players that can do it as well as Zach LaVine. It's just still picking and choosing and also being put in situations that really matter. Zach hasn't had the opportunity, since he hasn't been in the playoffs playing on losing teams, to really been put in opportunities where it really mattered outside this past Olympics, which I think we all think benefited. The Olympics usually benefit first-time players in the first place. It's not even a shock when you go over there and you just with the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? So looking at that, like, get back to Lonzo. If Lonzo can be that disruptor and the playmaker that he was this preseason. I said this last week. I heard Joe Cowley with Parkins and Spiegel yesterday. And I was saying on here that it's due to Lonzo, it's contagious when you got somebody that can pass and wants to defend. And if that continues to be contagious, and as long as they play defense, and they're one of the top rebounding teams last year. They continue to do that. They're one of the better defensive teams last year. Take another step with that. If they can be one of the best teams in the passing lanes, the Bulls are going to be top 5 in the East, I think, if they can do that. And I mean, it's early, and I'm drinking the Bulls Kool-Aid. It's cherry red.
Yeah, it is.
It's so cherry red, right?
Got
I'm
that,
drinking the
that right amount of sugar where it's a little bit on the sweet side. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, with the it just tastes with some ice cubes in it too. Oh, it's just.
There's a sandwich place right by me. They're like drug themed called Chiba Hut, and they have Kool-Aid with their sandwiches. You're making me want to go over to the Chiba Hut. Yeah.
I wonder how low their overhead is serving people Kool-Aid and getting money off of. I mean, because think about how much you're paying for a package,
right?
And you're like your overhead may be low as you know what. Like, how are the sandwiches at this place?
They're pretty good. They are pretty good. One of the best tuna sandwiches I've ever had, and I'm a big tuna sandwich guy.
I love a tuna sandwich, but I'm leery and I don't trust people with like those products that you have to mix mayo in. I have to really trust a place for me to do that. What's the name of the tuna sandwich that you said is
Pacific Blue Melt, I believe.
Okay. And you say this place is drug themed? The name?
Yeah, like there's like a parrot smoking a J sandwich and blowing out the smoke and all this. Like they really go into like the stoner vibe, if that makes sense.
Okay. And
they really lean in hard on that.
And that's not a state that you can smoke in, right? I mean, legally.
Yeah. We're rec in Arizona.
Okay. I didn't know. All right. Okay.
One of the few red states.
I was about to say, right? They know we got A.
But I guess technically they were blue last time.
Technically. But yeah, so what were your thoughts from the small sample size of the Bulls' first opening night game and now tonight being the first home game?
I had a lot of thoughts like that you were saying. The DeMar DeRozan thing, it felt like he was being just kind of like Superman, like let me just kind of take over at points, and I didn't like that. I felt like everybody else was kind of like in the flow of the offense except for him, but at the same time him and that pick and roll with Vooch and Levine, like I think those are legitimate weapons to throw at teams where, hey, you got an answer for DeMar, or hey, you got an answer for our pick and roll. Well, we have this counter we can do. And then obviously they're really good on the break. And if they can get that going, I think that can be an even greater weapon for them. An unsung hero, I guess, if you will, is
I'm sorry.
Oh man, what we got here? Oh,
it's something else. No, Kenton has sent me this TikTok. He had sent me this TikTok he sent me this TikTok real quick just since I interrupted you.
This TikToking on the show? Oh boy.
No, I was looking for the next segment. I was going to pull up the 75th anniversary players list. So I had it ready to go. So I went to open it up, and I didn't want to open up a tab on my computer because, as you know, StreamYard gets strained by, especially depending on the website, let alone just opening up a tab. And actually, I got an unused tab right here. Let me just close that out. But let me close this one out too. But they weren't causing any issue. So I was about to do it on here on my laptop, but I was afraid that I was going to pause and I didn't want to mess the show up. So when I went to I opened up Safari and it was still on the TikTok, but it already went to several others and it came up. So that's what happened, sir. Anyway, the TikTok like real quick.
Excuse.
So the TikTok is Darth Vader's on the side of this pool, and there's supposed to be Luke or a Jedi in the pool. And Darth Vader's like, I'm about to knock your ass in the pool. And Luke is like, I can't even swim or whatever. And Darth Vader's like, I'm your father. So then Luke pulls out a UPS package and throws it at Darth Vader and says, you my father, you owe me like about 18,000 racks in child support payments. And then Darth Vader stabs himself and falls into the water. All right. So I got that out the way. But yeah, I was trying to get the 75th anniversary.
So all you folks out there on TikTok, make sure you try to find that somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like a killer. Alex Caruso looked fantastic. I am really excited about his potential addition, and I was really encouraged to see him closing the game because I want them to lean a little bit more defense with what they've got. It's interesting, though, because they can definitely go small if they want to, or they can kind of play big. But I think that's the one thing they're really missing on their team is an extra defensive big. that maybe could even be a bench guy or just somebody that you could stick in with Vooch and just be big if you want to and still not lose anything in terms of defensive or perimeter on the defense or defense on the perimeter. And, just overall, I feel like the team makes a lot of sense. They're well constructed, well built. I can't wait to see them improve. Like that was just like a baseline, I feel like, for them, and they will get better. Like you said, if they can really defend, if they can really play the passing lanes, and they're not going to be beaten down by height and size, I think that they're a top 5, top 4 team in the East right now.
One concern, and this is such a small sample size that I have, is rim protection. And you're going to need, it was this one play where Vucevic had gotten beaten, and the help defender was Patrick Williams. And he came over, but I wanted him to jump and try to block the shot rather than just coming over. And I was thinking, like, kid, you're the only person that can really help and be, a rim protector, because you're not going to get it from Vucevic. That's going to hurt them at certain points during this season. I did see somewhere, I think on Twitter, that Thaddeus Young isn't in the rotation really, even though it's so early to say who's not in the rotation with the team, especially if you're looking at preseason. You never know. As someone is insinuating perhaps they could look as far as if he's bought out or whatever. But again, I just saw that. I didn't know if it's valid or not. I just was bringing it over here.
It would be great if they got bad.
They have an easy schedule right now. You have Cleveland against is coming up. You have the Pelicans tonight, and then they play another sucker-ass team in like the next 3 games. I can't remember, but they should basically be 4-0 if they do what they need to do. They need to start this off early and get on a run and pat their record with some victories for when they go into a slump or a lull, because we all know they will go into a slump or a lull. So again, I'm excited. I can't wait for tonight's game. I hope I can watch it, depending on what the family's going to be on. I record all these games, so I may just watch it tonight or in the morning, even though the boy and I have to get up early to get haircuts in the morning. It's messed up when I can't. My barber, he doesn't work in the afternoons really. So I can only get haircuts in the morning, and I can't get them now like I did when Kenton was out of school in the summertime. I can only get it on a Saturday. So we have to be at the barbershop at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning to get a haircut.
Woo!
That's early. I mean, and I was up early today. Actually, I've been up early the last 2 days. I had to drop the kids off yesterday. I had to drop the kids off and I had a doctor's appointment. And then I had Under Center, but we ended up not doing Under Center. We recorded it this morning. And then today I had to get up because we were recording Under Center early, and then I had enough time to hop on Sean and Maya for a second, but whatever. You don't care what I'm
By the way, this Bulls team has got a tough stretch coming up.
Let me know about the stretch.
You got Detroit again after the Pelicans, and then Toronto, New York, Utah, Boston, Philly, Brooklyn, Dallas. That's your next few games.
You're going to know who you are really quick. You know what? I can't say that, because if they come out bad, we can use the excuse that they're still learning to gel together.
It is fun using that one, and I think there is some merit to that. They're not used to playing with each other yet. And I think the encouraging part of that is it seems to all fit except for maybe DeMar DeRozan.
I wonder, listen, the crazy part, and DeMar DeRozan, I was cool with them getting DeMar DeRozan.
Me too.
But part of me was like, but how's the fit going to work? And he's been a player that I've been like, man, I would hate to trade someone who decided to sign with you. That would be rude, right? Even though it's not the same, it's not an apples to apples comparison. Man, I'd really be like Usai Ujiri on DeMar DeRozan again, right? But it was like, but just looking at it and the point that you make watching it, and it's just like, man, if we have to move somebody out because a piece isn't fitting, and you don't want to move Lonzo because you need a point guard. The Bulls have been needing a point guard. You damn sure don't want to move Vooch, because at least Vooch is pulling out the opposing center and leaving the lane open for your athletic guys and Zach to do whatever they need to do as far as getting in the lane and causing confusion. But he's the guy that I've kind of still had to mark on, and we're going to have to see. You know what I'm saying? We're definitely going to have to see how DeMar DeRozan gels. But no, I didn't know that schedule was coming up. At Dallas, they could beat Dallas. You know what I'm saying? They could beat Dallas. The Nets are going to be Toronto. They could be Toronto, but this is the thing.
It's at Toronto too.
That's what's, and even with Kyle Lowry being gone, that's a try-hard organization.
Yeah, that's not a easy one.
And it's a development organization. They really develop their players, so that's going to be the problem.
They still got some good players, even though they lost Lowry.
Definitely. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That Knicks one, that's the one I got circled. They got to beat the Knicks. They got to put this Knicks team in their damn place.
The Knicks are cap. All right.
I know, and I want, of course they start out with a double overtime win, and Julius Randle looks pretty good to start. They need to be put down. Put down quick. Tom Thibodeau is laughing too much. I'm seeing too many clips of Tom having a good time out there. I need stressed out Tibbs, where the few hairs left are seemingly falling out.
Listen.
Scowl and a thick line of sweat beading out of the pores.
It's gonna come. That whole thing is gonna fall apart. It's just funny, and I'm happy that Tibbs has Tibbs guys, and then he infused it with some more offense with Fournier and bringing Kemba back home. But Kemba talking about he's healthy. Kemba, you may be healthy now, but we know you're not gonna finish the season healthy, right?
Yeah, healthy and won't be.
Yeah, listen, and there's only so long that you can get. Now, maybe playing in the bright lights of New York will keep this team focused in the way that Thibs wants them to be. There's only so long that you could take Thibs and all his machinations, especially if you're not going deep in the playoffs. Because at least the Bulls, and I mentioned this earlier on Sean and Maya, let's not forget the part of the problem with Fred Hoiberg taking over the job as the Bulls head coach was the fact the year before they basically let the players know Thibs wasn't going to be there, and the players stopped doing what Thibs wanted them to do. Garpax, for some reason, was under the assumption that they could just bring someone in and that they were going to be able to turn it back on, and the players were going to be able to lock back in, and the players never locked back in, right? Mm-hmm. So you get that with Thibs where those players locked in, but part of the Bulls locking in, the carrot that was dangled in front of their face was contending for a championship. These guys know they are not contending for a championship in New York.
Or they'll know soon. They will know soon.
Stop playing yourself, right? Again, I think they're
going to be in the best team in New York.
Right.
And you're going to go win a title.
Oh, my goodness. Did you see that clip of the Knicks fans after that game that was floating around social media?
I think a little bit.
And they were they were talking about KD. They were talking about it was, oh man, it was ridiculous, right? It was, oh my God. Don't listen. I felt sorry for them, to be honest with you. I felt like, damn, I'm happy New York has the Yankees because y'all really out here acting like y'all know jack shit about with championships, right? Like, y'all are better than that, New York. You are better than that, right? Like, you're getting hyped over a double overtime game in the first game of the season.
It's pretty pathetic.
Oh my goodness. It's beautiful though. It's like the Knicks are the gift. If you ever if you ever grew up and your team was in a rivalry with the New York Knicks, they're the gift that keeps on giving for generations.
God, I love when the Knicks are bad. What is that?
I don't even care about Detroit. Like, listen, the Pistons can win the world championship.
I was rooting for them in 2004. Anyways.
I wasn't. A little bit, somebody's going to be like, a little bit. But majority of me is going to be like, I don't care. The Knicks, and again, if the Knicks won, I could get over it. But a part of me still goes back to the 90s, like, don't let them win.
I'm the same way.
It's a beautiful thing.
I think it's like, obviously the media market, but it's like, if you haven't won a title since the 70s, can you get on the who gives a shit list real quick?
Right. I'm gonna ask you this though. I can remember in the 90s when Jordan retired, and I used to get the Sport News magazine. I used to have a lot of Sports Illustrated, and everybody was picking the Knicks, and everybody had been picking the Knicks before because they were tired of Jordan's dominance. But people were like, yeah, the Knicks, it's going to be the year the Knicks do it or whatever, right? Do you know how insufferable ESPN would be if the Knicks were one of the best teams in basketball?
Oh, baby.
Can you imagine if the Knicks actually became a destination team? How insufferable it would be as we're bludgeoned over the head. Knicks. I mean, ESPN is all about basketball and football, right? Don't let the New York basketball team be one to Knickerbockers.
Oh my God! They'll change that ESPN red to New York orange real quick.
Dude. Oh man, Thibs, listen, you got to mess this up. You can't let World Wide West. You can't let them. They can't let them figure this out, man.
Honestly, this is going perfectly for our end. They think they're good enough to win it all, and they're going to waste a bunch of years not winning it.
But see what the plan is the Nets plan. The plan is let's get some guys to change the culture, and then we're gonna trade some of your ass to bring in some of these destination free agents. Even though I don't even know what are the big free agents coming gonna come out.
Zion's the one. Zion's the one that they're and that's what I was gonna say. They're building
please get Zion.
Nets.
Listen, please,
right,
Nick,
and then we'll throw all the money
Zion.
at Zion, and they don't have enough money for anyone else.
Please get Zion. I cannot wait for that to crumble in your face. Please get.
He wants to play with RJ again.
Okay, please. Now, if that's the plan, stick to it. Stick to that one all the way, because that's gonna win. That has titles written all over it.
Oh, it's 2050 and the Knicks still haven't won. We're approaching 100 years.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's what I want to see is 100 years of no Knicks titles.
Right. You had to draft him, but I would be looking at Ja Morant so much like, And both of them, the problem is both of them are injury risk because the fearlessness of Ja Morant, right, is like, dude, you're human, right? In which we had that guy playing here for a certain period of time. He plays for the Knicks now. That it's like I hope I'm wrong, but it's like a ticking clock. And then Zion is always going to be hurt. It's just he's built. He's too freaky. He's too much of a 2K player. He's built. You're not supposed to be like that.
I know.
And you already
he has to fully dedicate to just being the smallest he can possibly be.
And right now, not with those etouffees and those what's those pastries with they sprinkle the sugar on top of? Beignets. Not with those beignets, right? Shawty probably got like 5 beignets in his bag right now. Right? No, it ain't working. It ain't working, bro. It ain't working. Sorry.
It's like Napoleon Dynamite with the tater tots in the pocket.
Dude,
they're my beignets.
Dude, when you saw him sitting there talking about the I don't know if it was the owner or no, it was Griffin, the general manager. I don't know if Griffin is general manager or the president of that organization. But when you saw him talking about was he playing a piano in his hotel room for him or whatever, and get up and limp off, and then they're like, oh yeah, his foot is broken. And you're like, oh damn, that big man got a broken foot. Oh, we haven't even started yet. All right. And Shuddy's foot is broken. It's not gonna go right, to say
no. I don't think so. And
all right.
Sayonara, New Orleans. You're going to lose the next big thing again.
Yep. He's so gone right now. They know it in their heart. Listen, if I was the Pelicans, we got to have a serious discussion about this perhaps being his last season there. And it's not even because he still has to sign the second contract because they can offer him the most money, right? And even though we don't know what that Nike contract looks like. Right, we do not know what that Jordan contract looks like because it may have some bumpers in there. Of course, it does, depending on what market you're in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the point that I'm getting to is there's going to be diminishing returns if he is really injury prone, and you're going to have to lock him up. Where if you can get value for it, because I think we just know how this movie plays out. Unfortunately, regardless of how freakish an athlete and how good of a gentleman Zion seems like, I have no belief that a man built like that is going to stay healthy in the NBA.
Especially when he hasn't so far.
Exactly. That flies through the sky. If this was a guy that was that size and he was doing everything below the rim.
He was Steph Curry or something.
Yeah, if it was like, I'm feeling, but for you to get what you need out of him, he has to be a Skywalker for the most part, and that's
Is skywalking to the hospital. So you got this list for us, the 75?
Yeah, got the 75. I got the 75 up.
Are we hating on Reggie Miller getting on there? Are we doing what Tony wants?
I'm looking at it. I'm just trying to look and see the players that stood out to me. Kareem, Ray Allen, Giannis, Carmelo, Nate Archibald, Paul Arizin, Charles Barkley, Rick Barry, Elgin Baylor, Dave Bing, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, Wilt, Bob Cousy, Dave Cowens, Billy Cunningham, Steph, Anthony Davis, Dave DeBusschere, Clyde Drexler, Tim Duncan, Kevin Durant, Julius Erving, Patrick Ewing, Walt Frazier, Kevin Garnett, George Gervin, Hal Greer, James Harden, John Havlicek, Elvin Hayes, LeBron, Magic, Sam Jones, Michael Jordan. Damn, them J's are strong. Jason Kidd is the only K with last name that's in here. And Allen Iverson's the only I. Kawhi Leonard, Damian Lillard, Jerry Lucas, Karl Malone, Moses Malone, Pete Maravich, Bob McAdoo, Kevin McHale, George Mike and Reggie Miller, Earl Monroe, Nash, and Nash and the Whiskey are the only ends. Cute. Hakeem and Shaq, Parrish, Chris Paul, Gary Payton, Bob Pettit, Paul Pierce, Scottie Pippen, Willis Reed, Oscar Robinson, David Robinson, Dennis Russell, Dennis Rodman, Bill Russell, Dolph Schayes, Bill Sherman, John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas, Nate Thurman, Wes Unseld, Dwayne Wade, Bill Walton, Jerry West, Russell Westbrook, Lenny Wilkins, Dominic Wilkins, James Worthy. All right. So my person that I would snatch up out of here if I had to. See, I would throw off some of these really older cats.
Yeah.
Because it's like, who the hell were you playing against? All right, so
of the newer ones, I don't know if I like AD being on there.
I think AD is a top 75 player in the NBA history. Bill Sharman is on the list. Can you pull up Bill Sharman's stats real quick? Bill Sharman. Pull him up.
Sounds like Sham Wow, like he's an infomercial. Oh, how about Bill Sharman? He'll get a state out for you. Oh my God, his picture's in black and white. That's a real problem.
What years did he play, Ryan? What was his playing range?
Looking it up right now, I see the born day as May 25th, 1926. So that's not good.
I feel like Kevin Hart when he's sitting there talking to what's his name, and he's like, I'm 56 years old, and he's like, damn.
He was playing career of 1950 through 1961.
Oh, hell no. What was his numbers like? We're yanking him out.
He's a 4-time NBA champion, 8-time NBA All-Star. I'm sure we don't want any of that
He played
stuff.
He played for the Lakers or the Celtics. Which one?
Boston.
Okay. Yeah. We pulling his ass off. That's all. Those are all what's the name's championships anyway? Bill Russell.
Oh yeah.
So we got us one.
By the way, points per game. He was at 17.8, 3 assists, and 3.9 rebounds, and 88% free throw shooter, 42% from the field, and averaged 32 minutes a game.
Yeah, Bill Sharman's out. It's not even a question. Bill Sharman.
See you later, Sharms. His highest career or high season scoring, 22 points.
Yeah, it's fine if he scored 22 points, but he has to do it more than just one season.
Mm-hmm.
So sticking with Celtics players that may get yanked, pull up Dave Cowens real quick. Yeah, man.
We got to do a bit like that, like the names of NBA greats from old to now.
Oh yeah, this is some old Boards and Bernstein stuff right here.
The picture of Dave Cowens, it's not a fair one. It's him in 2005, but he looks like a scorehead, first of all. So just the fact that he's an NBA great. 1970 to 1980, and then 82 to 83 after a brief retirement. Let's see. Mainly with the Celtics. The last couple of years were with the Bucs. Averaged a total of 17 points a game, almost a block a game, one steal a game, 3.8 rebound or assists, 13.6 rebounds.
I was gonna say his board game is gonna be high. Dave Cowens' board game is gonna be high. He's in. I knew I was being disrespectful. I apologize to Dave Cowens. I was being disrespectful. Speaking of Dave Bing.
I thought you were gonna go with what is the Wendy's guy, Dave? I can't remember his name. Dave Thomas. Hey, look at Dave Thomas. What was the last name? Dave Bing. That's right. Dave Bing. How could I forget? Let's see here. Dave Bing. He is currently I'm sorry. My fault. He was the mayor of Detroit from 2009 to 2013.
Oh, yeah, he was. He definitely was. I remember Dave Bing when he was the mayor of Detroit.
And let's see. He averaged 20 points a game, 6 assists per game, 3.8 rebounds per game. Mainly doing it with Detroit. A couple years with Washington. Last year with Boston. 1966 to 1978.
Hold on. I got to look and see. I got Hal Greer next up on the list. Let's see. Hal Greer. So everybody knows we're not just yanking out white players. Hal Greer is black. Let's see. All right. Hal Greer.
1958 to 1973.
Hal Greer he started putting up some numbers. So initially, his first 3 years. Oh, this is all messed up. This is wrong. Oh no. I'm looking at the last years of his career. Oh, do you know what, Al Greer? I apologize. I'm being disrespectful. I'm being too disrespectful. You know what? This list is pretty solid, man. This is. I'm just saying, this list.
Does anyone come to mind that's not on the list that you think should be on there? Is there any obvious one?
Well, Tony was whining about Dwight Howard this morning.
That he's not on there?
If somebody has to suffer, I'm fine if it's him.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of great centers.
Right, and I mean, he was the best center while the NBA was getting rid of the position.
Right.
He never really had an offensive game. He never developed, I should say, his offensive game.
No, he needed Hito Turkoglu to even make it to the finals.
Right. So, I mean, you do need players, but still, yeah. You know what? I only have that one. As far as, because most of these players, I do know most of their careers, even if it was before my time. Yeah, there's only one. And who was that we snatched out?
Oh boy, was it John Smith? It was one of them. No, it was Bill Sharman.
Yeah, it was Bill Sharman. It was Sharman. Sharman, he's out.
Yeah, sorry, Bill.
Yeah, sorry, Bill. So
rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. So no, I mean, most of the guys I think that they added was Chris Bosh is on that list, right?
Ooh, I don't know if you mentioned Bosh. Yeah, maybe it was early on.
Ooh,
so
no, Bosh is not on this list.
Yeah, I got a little bit of especially better than. I think AD is a better player, but he hasn't accomplished as much as Chris Bosh.
I agree with that. I also think if I had neither one of them is on here, but if I had to choose between Chris Bosh and Dwight Howard, I'm maybe leaning towards Bosh.
I think I am too.
To be honest with you, just versatility defensively.
He won't be as good on the boards and defensively, but he can give you a punch offensively.
And he can extend it out. All right.
He can shoot that corner three.
Right. So, no, Bosh didn't make it on here.
And that's tough too. Bosh would have really put up some more numbers without LeBron had he stayed healthy from the clotting.
Exactly. I mean, to be honest with you, he'd still be playing probably right now.
Probably. He'd probably be the Udonis Haslem that they have currently on the team.
Right. He'd probably be playing. If not, he'd be someplace else, but he'd probably still be playing, collecting a check.
Maybe in LA with LeBron.
Right now.
You know, Bosh is only playing in Miami or LA.
Wow. This was pretty interesting. I think they did a pretty good job with this. Oh, Clay, we didn't say your thoughts on Klay Thompson not making the list.
Ooh, yeah, I kind of have a problem with that one. I mean, he's one of the best shooters ever, won multiple titles.
You know, I want to see this list. Player. I want to see this list by position.
It's just kind of tough with some of the younger players that are still going, because it's like, how many two guards would you put on there in like today's game when you already have like James Harden on there?
Right. I'm with you.
I don't know how many more twos you want to put on there. I think Klay should be on that list. And maybe disrespectfully over Reggie
Miller. Whoa. Klay ain't never had to drag his team by himself.
Yeah, I was trying to poke the bear, the Reggie Miller bear, like Tony does. The hornet's nest.
I don't even understand. I mean, we see the thing with that is just I haven't seen it, so fuck it. That's kind of how Tony can be with some stuff. And then he's just trying to use stats to validate if the person deserves it or not without the context of knowing what that person's career, what they were. You know, we're talking about the Knicks. I was watching that game where Reggie did that to the Knicks live. All right. It was crazy. All right. Seeing him through the choke sign to Spike Lee, seeing him knock down Greg Anthony and get that ball, and having the foresight to step back. Like, dude, you got to remember, taking threes back then was not today. And Reggie was the man at taking threes outside of Larry Bird back in those days. And by this time, Larry Bird had retired, right? When you saw Reggie already sit there, knock down a three, knock over Greg Anthony, they throw the ball, inbound the ball. The Knicks are inbound the ball. Throw the ball to Reggie after Greg Anthony is knocked down. Reggie dribbles, takes a step back. Back then, people wasn't doing that, right? Took a step back to the three-point line and let it go and knocked it. It was like, oh my goodness. It was
Reggie crazy. Just beat New York.
It was crazy, dude. Like, man, no. Like, even listen, I was thinking of this today. And it's funny how the things you think about come and play out. And I remember this point. I was thinking this today, and it's about Ray Allen and Reggie. But I remember recently thinking about the fact that people really don't know like the history of Deion Sanders. And like when I see Deion and think about Deion in Dallas, when I'm thinking about Deion in Dallas, to me, that's kind of like the end of his career because he was only really healthy for about 2 seasons. And then he had turf toe, and turf toe basically ended his career until he came out of retirement for Washington, right? And I'm sitting there, and I was thinking about this 4 days ago. So I'm watching ESPN yesterday or this morning, and it's like, yes, Sanders won't be at the game because he has to have operation on his foot. And it's funny, it's on the ESPN's ticker, and it was like, Sanders injured the foot playing for the Cowboys. And I was like, I was just thinking about that, right? So anyway, I was thinking about, and this is always in my head, if I had one player to take a shot to save my life, and you know, the first people usually go to is Ray Allen. And to me, Ray Allen wasn't as clutch when it mattered. And I know people still see that Heat game in the finals where he gets the pass to him, the missed ball, and LeBron misses a shot and Bosh knocks the ball over his way. That he has that one. But I'm talking about Reggie had epic moments like that regularly, damn near, right? Like, so it still would always be Reggie, and Reggie just had to again, to have somebody go at Michael Jordan who's less talented, right? And just prideful, and that's what you love about Reggie. Reggie wasn't taking Jordan's mess, and that's what you just loved about him. You know what I'm saying? It used to make you mad, but you love that about Reggie. So I'm always going to have an affinity for Reggie Miller, regardless of the hate and slander that young Tony wants to come up. It's great. The best part is this. All this stuff that he does, and I'm speaking of Tony Gill, he's going to be so mad in 10 years when some young person is disrespecting the people he grew up watching.
Right, like Steph.
Right. Like, man, so-and-so's like, what? So he's going to be so upset. And be like, man, you didn't see it. You didn't even see it.
And then you're going to wheel on over and be like,
yeah.
D-face.
Yeah. So,
he didn't
exactly.
see it?
Exactly.
He didn't see it, did he, Tony?
So, yeah. That's my thoughts on the NBA 75th anniversary. All the much to do about nothing. For the most part, we knew who was going to get in, and the 76 players that got in because it was a tie.
What do you think about these Bears going to Tampa?
Oh man, it's going to be interesting. Bill Lazor had some interesting statements. I was reading Brad Bick's article from the Chicago Tribune, talking about focusing on talk about the blitz packages that Todd Bowles is going to come with, and if this is a good lesson for Justin Fields, as long as Justin remembers the rules and everything they implemented in the offseason, and this is the reason why they implemented these plays in situations like this. This is not the matchup you want for this young quarterback, but it's probably a matchup that he needs after. I won't say he's flying high, but still, he's starting to figure it out, and you need to be challenged so you go to another level. And I mean, he got challenged last week, and he said it that it's the little minute parts of the plays that you really have to work on, because in college you have more opportunities and you're going up against lesser talent. It's going to be interesting to see what Todd Bowles dials up. You got the best run defense in the NFL. They're only giving up 54.8 yards rushing. I mean, think about that. And teams usually throw two or three. They have to. Because you don't want to be in a situation where you're doing your 3 and outs. Yeah, 3 and outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs. The defense is taxed. If the defense gets taxed against the Bucs, it's going to be a low. I think they're going to get taxed anyway, but I'm talking about taxed like by the second quarter,
right.
Into this. Yeah, like if they get taxed early, it's going to be bad. Let's be honest. Bears aren't going to win this game.
No,
there's a chance because it's football.
Yeah, Tom Brady gets hurt or something, and a ton of turnovers.
Teams are upset. Teams are right here again being wrong. I didn't have the Chargers losing last week to the Baltimore. Right? I mean, and it wasn't a loss. They beat them, right?
And there's been a lot of joking at the Bears' expense. Maybe they turn some of that into motivation. I mean, Tom Brady with all his comments, like Ohio State quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, like unsolicited, owning the team. I don't know if that's enough to really do anything, but the Bears are a little bit of a national joke, and one way you can shut people up is have an impressive victory.
Yeah, but this won't be the victory.
No, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen.
It's going to be, you know what, though? I'm looking for a team that runs on the run defense, because it happens where someone figures it out or some running back just has a really good day versus said team. And I wonder if the Bears can necessarily pull that out. Plus, how many teams are running from jumbo packages versus the Bucs, too? You know what I'm saying? Now, the Bucs know that. I mean, they have the tape. But I'm looking at that. I'm looking, can they... You may not be able to consistently sustain drives, but can you keep some drives alive through the run, unlike most of the NFL has versus the Bucs this season and towards the end of last season? You're going to have to listen. You're going to have to win through the air. You're going to have to. Cole Kmet had 4 passes for 49 yards, his best game of the season. He's going to have to get more catches than that. Yep, you're right. For his career, he's going to need more catches than that. Maybe Jimmy Graham finally shows up in the passing game.
No, I think they just want to pay him for multiple years for no reason.
We like that. He's sexy.
Ryan Pace likes that. He likes that.
So I mean, it's going to be a hard game.
But you're right. They have to throw down the field against this battered secondary of the Bucs. I mean, even if you're just kind of throwing it up a little bit, like, you got third string practice squad guys going up against your top starters. Maybe you won't have A-Rob because of injuries, but you should have enough talent where you would think, I mean, you got to beat practice squad guys. You got to beat third stringers.
You should be able to, but they still got that front seven. And I mean, I know JPP may be out. I forgot who else may be injured that may not make it. Because he had a couple players that didn't practice this week. AB didn't practice this week.
Yeah, he's out. He's officially out.
I need Mike Evans needs every catch he can get. Gronk.
I needed
last
AB
week was the
in.
first week. Last week was the first week that Gronk being out hurt me as far as Mike Evans. Gronk being out has helped my Mike Evans boom. Man, it's always like this with Brady and Mike Evans. I knew better. It's like, they really don't have a connection. I'm like, it's a year 2. They're going to be better. Just take them, right?
It's been going great for me with Tom. Oh, I'm so glad I picked up Tom.
Great for you. Great. But what are your thoughts as far as expectations for this upcoming game in Tampa?
I think like we're talking about a pretty obvious loss. So it's how they lose for me. Are they doing things that make sense? Big reason why we think they're going to lose. The run defense of the Buccaneers is fantastic. It's extraordinary. It's the best of the best. The Bears' only shot of any type of offense has to be running the football. So you're already setting yourself up for failure on paper, right, in this matchup. But if they come out there just like, hey, we're not gonna run it, we're gonna throw it like crazy because they're too good at stopping the run, I'm gonna have a huge problem with that. I'm gonna have a huge problem with that because that is no way that they're gonna be able to win. And if this offensive line is good at blocking anything, it's the run, not the pass. They are not good at doing that. And I don't want to see Justin Fields ever get lit up like he did against Cleveland. And unfortunately, this game has that making if, let's say, Matt Nagy takes over play calling or gets, wild with his game planning or whatever.
I don't think Matt Nagy's taking over play calling anytime soon.
And I don't
think Matt Nagy would have come out and said what he said if he was going to do an end around and snatch it right back. And not to say it didn't happen last year, but I think that was from up high a little bit too. And then also the players. Now we talk about Matt Nagy not losing the locker room. If he had some come to God moment with the team, excuse me, and they all came up with, you know what, these are the things that work best. And one of those things is you giving up the play call and giving it to Bill Lazor.
And Nick Foles stood up saying that.
Of course, you can lose this team if you go back to a losing style, and I mean losing style, you calling offensive plays. So I don't think right now he's going to run that risk when they're actually 500. You know what I'm saying? So I don't expect it because I mean, look, think about it. They have a chance in 3 weeks to be. They're going to be 3-4 probably. They have a chance to be 5-4 in 3 weeks. They can beat San Francisco and they can beat the Steelers. They can, not to say they will, but they could beat those teams. All right. And now you finally gotten past the gauntlet that was taking place at the first half of this season. You know what I'm saying? And now you're getting back to your Detroits. You haven't played the Vikings. Haven't played the Vikings at all yet. You know what I'm saying? So that's 3 games right there. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I just really am worried about the only way you're going to have any chance to succeed in this game is running the football. You're probably going to be running against a brick wall. And we know with the Bears coaching staff, maybe not Bill Lazor, but definitely with Nagy, when the run isn't working, immediately they want to abandon ship. And if this game's close and they have a shot to win in the fourth quarter, it's because they never gave up on the run and they found a way to get enough out of the passing game.
You hope. Well, maybe, listen, we'll see. All right. Because I'm with you. I think that's how to play out. But what if it plays out? They stopped the run. They stifled it. There was nothing you can do. And the kid got hot. Again, I don't necessarily believe that's going to happen, but there's still a chance. And that probably will be the only way that you can dispatch of Tampa Bay is if it getting hot. If him getting hot in Justin Fields, and if he goes off for career yards and passes thrown and caught and yards of the game. Yards.
That would be yards fantastic. Thrown. Like, I'm hoping to see that real amazing breakout Justin Fields game. I don't think it's coming quite this week just because of this opponent, but that's what we're hoping to develop, right? That no matter what the crap you put around him, once he's good, he's going to make up for a lot of that crap.
Exactly. So we'll definitely see, but let's go around and preview the week 7 before we get up out of here.
Yeah, let's talk about think a solid slate, but I don't know if there's a ton of great games. Let's start in the noon hour. These two teams seem to always be matching up. Titans hosting the Chiefs. 4-2 Titans, 3-3 Chiefs.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I have to. That's my squad. I mean, I am. Yeah,
Not giving the Titans a chance.
No, I don't want to. I'm not feeling Tennessee's vibes really this year. I was
impressed by that victory over Baltimore. I got to. I
would. Yeah.
But I'm with you. I'm not feeling those vibes. Otherwise,
I'm not feeling it. So I'm gonna go KC. What about you?
I kind of like the Titans. I don't know. I think the Chiefs are
good. They're
reeling a little bit. I think the Derrick Henry big emotional win. Sometimes it's a little bit of a letdown, but the quality of opponent, I think that they'll be able to get up even on a short week. How about also in the noon hour, the Ravens hosting the Bengals for first place in the AFC North.
I'm not betting against the Baltimore. Period.
Boy.
I'm not. And again, the Bengals, listen, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are doing their thing. I'm moving all my chips to Lamar Jackson. All right. And I'll be wrong, but give me Lamar Jackson. I mean, the dude is doing it all by itself, basically.
I'm with you. And like you said, that Chargers where they just whomped them, that was really impressive. And like they've just been able to stay in every game. They played really well overall. They might not be a perfect team, but they're managing injuries. They're finding a way to get stops. Lamar is getting a little bit better as a passer, but still has all that juice running. Yeah, I like Baltimore in that one. How about this? 3:00 slot. Usually those are all the games of the weeks. Well, if anything, it's making my stomach weak looking at all this. So I'll give you the 3 games. You got to pick one. Okay. Eagles at the Raiders, Lions at the Rams, Texans at the Cardinals, and I guess we've already talked about the Bears or the Buccaneers.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Right. That is your 3:00 time slot. When do we start?
Where are the Eagles at? Where are the Eagles at?
In Vegas, taking on the Raiders.
Oh, what was the third game? Because I mean, this is
Texans
all bad.
Going to the Cardinals. JJ Watt against his former team, baby.
Okay, that one I'm in for that.
How about Jared Goff playing his former team?
No. And Dan Campbell threw Jared Goff. Listen, he tossed Jared Goff so effing far. Oh my goodness. No. The Lions are worse than what we expected them to be. And no, like the Rams are going to slaughter them.
Good, because I have their defense. I need it.
I'm going to go with the JJ Watt bowl. Because listen, I get to watch Kyler Murray. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you get to watch Kyler Murray, it's deep.
Well, to be fair, there's no wrong answers with this hot garbage of 3:00 slot games.
Oof. I mean, wait. I mean, 3:00 is basically where all 4 teams are supposed to get murdered.
Yeah.
Think about including the Bears and Tampa.
Right.
Like this is some of the most lopsided games, and at least the Bears are 3-3. But damn, this is a terrible ass 3:00 hour.
And they're all the road teams. Unless you think the Eagles are going to beat the Raiders, all these road teams are about to get smoked. Where's the flex? Can we flex?
Something.
NFL needs to put the flex in immediately.
But you know the crazy part is this was the first crazy bye week. Like so many of my guys, it was bye. I'm like, oh my, what am I about to do?
I know. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Kareem Hunt finally goes down. Now my Nick Chubb got hurt, right? Kareem Hunt, I'm like, again, I'm not rooting. But I'm like, finally, he's not stealing my touchdowns, right? And then they're like, Nick Chubb's not gonna play Thursday night. I'm like, damn it. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? Man, I must have got Dearness Williams or whatever Shorty's name was that ran for Cleveland last night. Shorty got me 20-something high points, man. I was like, I know they running this rock, right? Especially with Case Keenum in there.
Come on.
I know. Hey, Shorty he's gonna stay on my roster.
Stefanski was just salivating to run that baby.
Come on, like yeah, man. That's some hard. That's a hard 3:00 hour you got right there, Ryan, to say the least.
How about I'll give you the Sunday and Monday night games. Give me which one you want out of that? Colts 49ers or Saints Seahawks? Against Colts 49ers?
Because I'm not a Geno Smith guy. So
you don't want to see Geno versus Jameis?
Every time I see Geno, it's bad to just think about somebody getting knocked out or getting their jaw wired. I just think about when Geno with the Jets and he owed that linebacker that money from this charity event and how Shorty just rearranged his face. It's hard for me to forget some things.
Yeah, I always think about him alone in the draft room. That one always comes to mind.
I forgot about, and also like the bad talk, like coming out of West Virginia, he had rumors of being.
They were talking about being number 1, and then he drops all the way to nothing.
Yeah, dude. So I mean, even though, last week, Shuddy, he stepped up, but no. You said the 49ers versus who? The Colts?
The Colts.
Yeah, I mean, man, the Colts, man.
How about the battle of NDSU quarterbacks? Trey Lance versus Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I guess.
NDSU ball.
I'm going to go with the 49ers in that one.
I'll bet you what, you're going to get some hot numbers in North Dakota for that Sunday night game. I'll tell you what.
All 12 people will have their TVs tuned in. Oh man.
Oh my goodness. We're running hot in North Dakota this night. Number 2 market.
Oh good.
We gotta get more of these Colts 49ers games going. My God.
Oh man. Yes. That's a good one, Ryan. That's a good one. All right, everybody. We will be back next week, maybe even a little earlier in the week, actually, to give you a little bit of our banter about sports and whatever else is going on. We always appreciate it. Make sure you take care of yourself and don't do anything crazy till you hear from us again. Or maybe just don't do anything too crazy in general.